Ooh, good morning, beautiful people. It's Friday the 13th. Oh, I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Welcome to LoveBabz, LoveTalk. It is the end of the week, children. Last night was great. Last night was the New Haven Docs Film Festival launch gala kickoff. It was great. It felt really, 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 really good. Really good. So I just wanted you to know. Black Barbie is alive and well and thriving. So it was really good to talk to Aaliyah Williams, the producer of the film, about Black Barbie and all the things. So it was a good showing of people. People showed up. It was at the New Haven Museum, which is always a nice space to be in. It was a lovely night. I'm glad I got to go. Glad I got to have conversation with Miss Williams about Black Barbie. It's really a good documentary. It got picked up by Shondaland, so it's going to be on Netflix soon enough. So they're re-editing it, making it Shondaland ready, and then they're going to launch it. So pretty good, pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. So I'm starting to feel a little bit under the weather. I have a severe dairy allergy, and any hint of dairy wears me out. And I was at bar the other night and had vegan pizza, but the salad didn't have cheese, but the candy pecans, walnuts, or whatever they were, those are dipped in butter and candied. And so I feel them right now. I feel them. And I didn't think about that until I was eating them, and I realized, oh God, this is why I have to be Inspector Clouseau with everything. I got to be Inspector Gadget. I got to be Columbo. I got to be Miss Marple. I got to do all the things. And I didn't dig into the I just assumed it was just all greens until I got to the candied pecans. And so I'm having a little discomfort this morning. I mean, I have a cocktail, a medicine cocktail that will offset some of the pain, but it's just when it shows up, it just takes so much out of me to recover. And I'm glad it's the end of the week, but I still have lots to do. I mean, I have lots of things to do, so it's not like I could just shut down. There's no shutting down. And plus, I've lived with this for a good part of my adult life, so. And it's nobody's fault. If anybody's fault, it's my fault. I don't even know if it's fault. I mean, periodically dairy slips in, and it's not because I'm not paying attention. It's just because sometimes it just slips in. And people don't necessarily think about all the things that dairy is the way that I have to think about all the things that are dairy. So people just sort of take for granted, oh, well, I don't know that to have dairy in it, so therefore it must be fine. And I can't think like that. I have to go about being at it. So it's a little challenging. So I say all that to say it's Friday the 13th. I'm curious. Is anybody else curious? I'm at the New Haven Independent site, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Because the Bitsy Clark awardees, grantees have been turned loose, like put out there. Get them to testify in the Bridgeport election fraud. And it's nice to see Regina Winter's Regina Winter's Toussaint, beautiful smiling face on the wall of the New Haven Independent. I miss her so very much. She was such a wonderful person, smart and brilliant, and she is missed. And that smile that lights up the whole New Haven Independent site. She is missed. She is missed to those of us who knew her well. So there are some people in this city who their loss is acutely felt. Acutely felt. Happy birthday yesterday to Lucy Gelman. Happy birthday to her. So let me tell you about the myth, the taboo of Friday the 13th, because I don't think people know it. So Friday the 13th combines two taboos from the Bible. Based on the story of the Last Supper of Jesus, 13 people were seated at the table, and it happened on a Thursday. And he was arrested that evening and crucified the next day on a Friday. So 13 is associated with that terrible event. That's one little thing. So, so that's the biblical, the number also represents the betrayal of the Last Supper that Jesus Christ shares with his disciples. And then executions and sentencings were sometimes carried out on Fridays in North America, making the day known as Hangman's Friday. So these are little things that we all walk around with, supporting but not knowing. And it's considered an unlucky day in Western superstition, white people, because Black people don't see it that way. At least I don't. So it's just about the cultural origins of so there's a whole thing. CNN did a whole thing of cultural origins of everyday things. And so they trace the concept of the curse back to Norse mythology. So it's a lot. So you get the gist of it. It's a lot of religious rigmarole connected to it. And there's a lot of just like those two taboos. And I guess I get why it's creepy, because if you're gonna hang people on the 13th, that would cause a little bit of, that's like some kind of terrorism vibe to it, right? Anything that's like, Friday the 13th, I don't think it's the harbinger of bad luck. I'm not superstitious like that. I like black cats. When black cats cross my path, my luck is extraordinary, because I don't think anything black is bad. So I don't hold to that thinking. I don't hold to that thinking. That's just white supremacy in action. Whenever they say, put black on black things and black, and I know there's white folks listening like, I never thought of that. No, because you never have to think about that, because it never occurs to you to think about, when you say something is black or bad or whatever, that it's the association is always attached to black people. So anyway, except when you're in the black, that's money. When you're in the red, you've got problems. But when you're in the black, baby, you all right. So I'm gonna go to the History Channel, because that's always a good source of telling you what's happening. I want to come up. Okay, here we go. So, long considered a harbinger of bad luck. Friday the 13th has inspired a late 19th century secret society, an early 20th century novel, a horror film franchise, and not one but two unwieldy terms, para parascavideca trepia triophobia and friga riscadica phobia that describe fear of the supposedly unlucky day. So just like walking under a ladder or crossing a path with a black cat or breaking a mirror, many people hold fast to the belief that Friday the 13th brings bad luck. And though it's uncertain exactly when this particular tradition began, negative superstitions have swirled around the number 13 for centuries. And while Western cultures meaning white folks, have historically associated the number 12 with completeness, there are 12 days of Christmas, 12 months and zodiac signs, 12 labors of Hercules, 12 gods of Olympus, 12 tribes of Israel, just to name a few examples. Its successor, 13, has a long history as a sign of bad luck. The ancient code of Hammurabi for example, reportedly omitted a 13th law from its list of legal rules. And though it was particularly a clerical era, superstitious people sometimes point to this proof of 13 long-standing association. Fear of the number 13 has earned a psychological term, triskaidekaphobia. Triskaidekaphobia. Why is Friday the 13th unlucky? Well, according to biblical tradition, 13 guests attended the Last Supper, held on Maundy Thursday, including Jesus and his 12 apostles, one of whom, Judas, betrayed him. The next day, of course, was Good Friday, the day of Jesus' crucifixion. The seating arrangement at the Last Supper is believed to have given rise to a long-standing Christian superstition that having 13 guests at a table was a bad omen, specifically that it was courting death. That's a lot to put on a number. Though Friday's negative associations are weaker, some have suggested they also have roots in Christian tradition. Just as Jesus was crucified on a Friday, Friday was also said to be the day Eve gave Adam the fateful apple from the tree of knowledge, as well as the day Cain killed his brother. A Friday is not a bad day. Ask anybody who's going to happy hour tonight. So in the late 19th century, a New Yorker named Captain William Fowler, he lived from 1827 to 1897, sought to remove the enduring stigma around the number 13, and particularly the unwritten rule about not having 13 guests at a dinner table, by founding an exclusive society called the 13 Club. The group dined regularly on the 13th day of the month in room 13 of the Knickerbocker Cottage, a popular watering hole Fowler owned from 1863 to 1883, before sitting down for a 13-course dinner. And members would pass beneath the ladder and a banner reading Morituri te salutamus, Latin for those of us who are about to die, salute you. Okay, that's pushing it a little too far. But then, 4 former U.S. presidents, Chester A. Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, and Theodore Roosevelt, would join the 13 Club's ranks at one time or another. So, Friday the 13th in pop culture, like now, an important milestone in the history of the Friday the 13th legend in particular, not just the number 13, occurred in 1907 with the publication of the novel Friday the 13th, written by Thomas William Lawson. The book told the story of a New York City stockbroker who plays on superstitions about the date to create chaos on Wall Street and make a killing on the market. The horror movie, Friday the 13th, released in 1980, which scared me to death. I only saw one of those movies, and I didn't watch the other 2,000 of them. Released in 1980, introduced the world to a hockey mask-wearing killer named Jason. And it's perhaps the best known example of the famous superstition in pop culture history. And the movie spawned multiple sequels, as well as a comic book, novellas, video games, and other related marketing and countless terrifying Halloween costumes. Why bad things happen on Friday the 13th? On Friday the 13th, on Friday, October 13th, 1307, officers of King Philip IV of France arrested hundreds of the Knights Templar. Do y'all know the Knights Templar? They were responsible for, looking for the covenant of Christ, the Holy Grail, that whole thing. A powerful religious and military order formed in the 12th century for the defense of the Holy Land. Imprisoned on charges of various illegal behaviors, but really because the king wanted access to their financial resources, many Templars were later executed. Some cite the link with the Templars as the origin of the Friday the 13th superstition, but like many legends involving the Templars and their history, the truth remains murky. So if you know the Templars, I mean, there's a whole thing about them and the Knights Templars and the legend and if you see one particular Indiana Jones movie, they're featured in one of the movies. So in more recent times, a number of traumatic events have occurred on Friday the 13th, including the German bombing of Buckingham Palace in September 1940. The murder of Kenny Genovese in Queens, New York, March 1964. A cyclone that killed more than 300,000 people in Bangladesh in November 1970, and the disappearance of a Chilean Air Force plane in the Andes in 1972, and the death of rapper Tupac Shakur, 1996, and the crash of the Costa Concordia cruise ship off the coast of Italy, which killed 30 people in January 2012. So there you go. So it's it's a mishmash of all the reasons why we think Friday the 13th is whatever. I don't happen to feel that way. I actually just find it quirky. I think I like that other people hold to it in a way that I don't. Like I'm neither spooked or any of that stuff, and I'm not trying to be spooked, so nobody needs to jump out of the bushes at me. I don't need that in my life, but I'm not superstitious like that. I'm not worried about breaking mirrors, walking under ladders. First of all, I have no reason to walk under a ladder. So, and if you walk under a ladder, there's a good chance that there might be a paint can that'll spill on you, or you'll knock over some tools. So I don't as a rule make it a habit of walking under ladders. I like black cats. I don't like cats, but when a black cat crosses my path, I tell you, my luck goes up exponentially. I like black people, so there you go. Black cats, black people, black. So there you go. If you want more information, just about everybody has something on Friday the 13th. The Farmer's Almanac. Let's see. So if you want to know when the next Friday the 13th is, well, we're having it now in this is the last one in 2023. The next one is 2024, which will be September 13th and December 13th. That's it for 2024. In 2025, it'll be June 13th. In 2026, you get 3 opportunities to have a Friday the 13th. February 13th, 2026, March 13th, 2026, Friday, November 13th, 2026. That's some good information to know. And if you're into Norse mythology and you follow all that Marvel foolishness, Loki is a Norse god. He wasn't invited. And then he was, he's a troublemaker. A fight ensued. And one of the most popular gods, Baldur, was killed that day. So that's that Loki, Norse mythology. I told you about the Knights Templar. They were all killed and whatever. They, some of them got burnt up. They, put them in a put them on fire or whatever. They were burned at the stake in Paris. White people, y'all are dangerous. Dangerous. And then the Last Supper, which I didn't know. This is new to me. The Last Supper piece is new. I didn't know anything about that. So, Jesus Christ and his 12 disciples, the number 13 is associated with Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Christ shortly after the Last Supper. And Christ was handed to Roman soldiers the next morning and crucified on Good Friday. All right. There you go. That seems like a stretch of the imagination, that one, for the Friday the 13th. So I say if we were doing word on the street, I would be out there asking people, so tell us, do you know the history of Friday the 13th? Like that would be a good question to ask. Because I bet you people don't know. Because people will just probably say it's the precursor to Halloween. It's not. I mean, I guess it could be if you want to see it that way. Because, they always put like black cats and spooky stuff, cobwebs. And this is how far Friday the 13th goes. Unluckiness of 13. Well, what people think the unluckiness. There's no 13 floors. When I lived at the Tab, they just bypassed the 13th floor and made it the 14th floor. Now, for me, in my mind, this is why I'm always at a loss why people think that this flies. Just because you call it the 14th floor does not mean it's not the 13th floor. I don't know how you discount that. There's no 14th floor, even though you're calling the 13th floor the 14th floor because you don't want to see the 13th floor. It's just crazy to me, right? We just walk in foolishness all the time, And I'm sure it has something to do with 13 being an unlucky number. I mean, is a rose by any other name still a rose? Come on. The damn 13th floor, I don't care if you call it the 14th floor or 12 and a half, it's still the 13th floor. Yeah. And there's no 13 floors in the elevator. This is fascinating to me. So early tall building designers fearing a fire on the 13th floor or fearing tenant superstitions about the rumor decided to omit having a 13th floor listed on their elevator numbering. This practice became commonplace and eventually found its way into American mainstream culture and building design. There's no 13th floor in hotels and buildings. There's no... It's just crazy, right? And that's when you could take something... This is how I know you could do anything. You could do any damn thing because this is so unreasonable. Because if somebody owes you $13, you're not going to accept 12. You'll be happy to accept 14, but you're not going to accept 12. If I owe the United Illuminated $13, they want $13. They're not going to say, I don't give a damn about your superstition. So triskaidekaphobia, extreme superstition regarding the number 13. I do not have that. So triskaideka is Greek for 13. So you have a phobia of the 13. That is just crazy. But I just don't understand how you bypass 13 and go to 14 and think that it's right. It's still 13. I don't care if you call it 14. And if you say that out loud, does that increase the superstition? I don't understand that. I don't want to understand it. It just seems crazy to me. So, so anyway, I mean, then they make reference to the famous Apollo 13 lunar mission, which was, not the most successful foray into outer space. In the tarot deck, the 13th card is death, often picturing a pale horse with his rider. I think, you know what? I think we need to reclaim 13. I think we need to reclaim it and take it back from this foolishness of superstition. I think we should. I don't know how we do that, except, maybe I get 13 tattooed on me or something. I don't know. I don't care that much about it, but, But here's the thing. Lucky 13, because guess what? There are 13 stripes on the American flag representing the 13 colonies. Taylor Swift was born December 13th, which considers 13, and she considers 13 her lucky number. The Italian expression fa tre dieci translates as make 13, means to hit the jackpot. And if you get a baker's dozen at the bagel or donut shop, the 13th one is still pretty tasty. Maybe we got it all wrong after the fact. I think so. It's nothing more than a number between 12 and 14. 13 is the number. So we shouldn't be afraid of that. But we've accepted it. And it has become ingrained in American architecture and just America as a rule. So, I mean, the monsters live at 1313 Mockingbird Lane. I don't have a fear of numbers, except, I get a little queasy around 666. It's interdimensional. I get a little queasy about 666. But let me tell you why I don't worry about it too much. Because, people like the 666, the mark of the beast, or whatever the hell that is. And I only know that mess because the omen, right? The omen. He's like looking in the kid's head. There's 666 burnt in his scalp or some old mess. But my cardiologist, his address is 666. When I first went to the doctor's office and I went to the door and it was a 666, I was like, okay, what is happening here? Cardiologist for 666? Do I want to change cardiologist? Now he has other offices. I can see him in other offices. But I think for me, I refuse to let that have some modicum of control over me. So I was just like, all right, I'm just going to go in. He's been my cardiologist and he's Indian. I know damn well you don't give a damn about 666. He's Indian. I don't think he's Christian at all. And even if he was, it doesn't seem to bother him because he didn't ask to have it changed. It's right there on the door, 666. I'm thinking to myself, ooh. So maybe I have a little bit of superstition, not enough to make me go to another cardiologist. I mean, if I felt some way, really, I would just go to a different office. But as I said, I don't like anything to have that kind of control. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be worried about that kind of stuff. So I just find it funny. So Friday the 13th, we are taking it back from all the scary people and the spooky people. If the spooky people enjoy it, have at it. I'm not trying to be extreme. But for those of us who think Friday the 13th is lucky, I'm one of them, then let's rock on. To the people who think it's not lucky, well, spooky booby boo, spooky booby boo. There you go. Have at it. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what else to say. So if you're out there doing your thing, do it. I wonder if anybody's doing spooky Friday the 13th cocktails. I need a spooky cocktail. Don't you need a spooky cocktail? What would be a spooky somebody tell me what's a spooky cocktail? Those cocktails that got all the dry ice over it, spookiness over it. I want to know. Let me know. I want to know. So anyway, that's it. Spooky. I'm not even gonna sweat it. But it's Friday the 13th. So wherever you are out there in the big old world, don't be afraid. You know, if a black cat crosses your path, think of that as the most extraordinary good luck you're going to have. And if you think that way, guess what happens? And you behave that way, guess what happens? Then you manifest all the good luck to come your way. Because you attach, whatever you attach your brain to reflects and comes back to you. I know this for a fact. So if you look for danger, pretty much you're gonna find it. So don't look for danger. Don't be afraid. I don't like cats as a rule, by the way. So white, black, or otherwise, purple, calico. I just don't like cats. For no other reason other than they just creep me out. They're just creepy creatures. But then I don't like animals as a rule. So, but I don't want to see harm come to them either. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm one of those people. I don't want to see people harm stuff. Like stop harming stuff. You know, now I'll eat a steak, eat some chicken, turkey, whatever. You know, I eat animals, but I don't want to harm them. You know, and that's a contradiction, ain't it? You know, you got to kill it to eat it. So I know. I'm just saying it's not tied to Friday the 13th. That's my point. It's not tied to Friday the 13th. So, however way y'all are feeling out there in the world, get over it. Go and play around with the number 13, see what it does for you. I tell you my cardiologist, 666. And you know, you just think, geez, do I really want to go in here? Yeah, it's fine. So that's the way of the world. That's what I'm going with, people. So what else? Let me jump away from Friday the 13th. I just wanted to get some clarity on why it was so loaded, why it's such a loaded day. It's a precursor. And listen, I'm not a fan of Halloween either. I mean, I just don't care for spooky stuff. But I tell you what I do like. I do like going by and see people fully decorate for Halloween. And they started early this year. Like they started like late September, putting up the Halloween decorations. You know, I don't like the gory Halloween decorations. Like I don't want to see heads hanging and all that kind of stuff. But I do like lots of cobwebs and giant spiders and pumpkins and witches and you know, and then the creaking of the doors, like you know, I like that. But I'm not going to haunted house stuff. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not walking through a haunted, and I've done it when I was a teenager. You know, you walk through the haunted house, they jump out at you. Oh, scares the bejesus out of you. Nope, can't do it. I remember one year I was running. I was like, I must have been 13. And my foot fell in a ditch in a hole and I sprained my ankle so bad. I had to be helped home. It wasn't broken, but it was sprained very bad. Oh, that was a terrible day. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So anyway, so that's what we know. So we talked about the missing 13th floor. We talked about Friday the 13th and all the taboo subjects. So two stand out, you know, the Last Supper and the Norse story. And the Templars, the Templar Knights. That's a long way to go. And the fact that we hold these for so long, you know, without question. So I'm reclaiming Friday the 13th. I'm taking it back from the spooky people. Taking it back from the spooky people. I don't believe it's unlucky. And listen, universe, don't try to prove me wrong as I look around and say, universe, I'm talking to you. Listen, I don't need to be proven wrong. You know, universe, I've always held Friday the 13th as almost holy. So I don't want to change now. So don't put anything in my path to make me question my decisions. I'm just saying, let me hold on to reclaiming and re-narrating Friday the 13th. So Yesterday was the last day to catch a movie at the Criterion downtown. That was really sad. That really, really was sad. It was really, really sad. And you know, I didn't realize that that they had been there for 20 years. It just feels like they just got there. I'm not good with time. I really am not somebody that is good with time. And Michelle Turner used to laugh about this all the time because, you know, I would say stuff like, oh, you know, like 20 years ago. And when I would say 20 years ago, I really meant, you know, late 70s, early 80s. And then when you go back and do the math, like, oh my God, I really meant 30, 40 years ago. I'm 60. Freaks me out every time I say it. Not because I'm afraid to be 60. It's just like it's such a number that I never thought I would see. And it just seems like a big number, you know. And then I meet people who are 70, like Norma Rodriguez, who just turned 70 and who wears heels and dresses every damn day. I don't know how she does that. Her and Nancy Pelosi are cut from the same cloth. They're always in heels. Like Norma Rodriguez is always in a pair of heels and a lipstick. She is always in heels and a lipstick. I think she would rather die than be caught out there without any lipstick on. So, but that's women of that generation. They cared deeply about appearance and how they showed up in spaces, you know. And she was raised Pentecostal, so pants are unheard of. You know, women just don't wear pants. So, you know, so Norma Rodriguez, she must have one hell of a dress closet. And if I was like, you know, 150 pounds lighter, I'd be over there shopping in her closet because she must have a hell of a dress closet and a shoe game that rivals Nancy Wyman. 70 years old. Happy birthday, Norma. You know, and I think she should celebrate that with all the gusto. So I know periodically she listens to me. That's why I'm talking about her. But I mean, she's 70 years old. She clicks them heels and wears those dresses. And I'm thinking to myself, I could not wear a dress every day. I just couldn't do it. And I have a lot of dresses. I could probably do maybe 2 months of dresses every day. I have a lot of dresses. I mean, I have a lot of clothes, period. But I could just rock nothing but dresses and skirts if I wanted to. But then after that, it'd be like, I'd have to put something on repeat. Not Norma. Norma Rodriguez has enough dresses, I swear to God. I bet you she rivals anybody in the royal family. Because, you know, they always in dresses. I don't think the queen, the late queen, ever wore a pair of pants. Oh, she did. Because, you know, she'd be out there driving and riding the horses. You can't do that in skirts. So I think Norma has a closet like the late Queen Elizabeth. I'm convinced. I'm convinced that she has that many dresses. She has enough dresses. So anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. It just cracked me up a little bit. It just cracked me up to think about that. So I was talking about being 60. This is fine. I was looking at the my Instagram and I came across the post from Death, Sex, and Money, and how they are shutting down because they got they have problem. The people that were producing their podcast is going out of business, which is unfortunate. You know, so I still think they could find a way to produce their show in a quality format. Because they have a lot of listeners and a lot of people like them. And periodically I would catch something. First of all, the title alone is great. Death, Sex, Money. You know, that's just for the ages. And sometimes I would catch them and they would just be talking about the most craziest ish. And I'd be like, whoa. And it'll be under whatever the category is. So I can't imagine that they won't continue in some other form. You know, they got a lot of fans and they should continue. So, I tell you who I wish would shut up. I wish Jada Pinkett Smith would shut the hell up. I just, they are Will and Jada and their family are like the Addams family, but the kind of Addams family that you wouldn't like. Like we actually like the Addams family. Morticia Gomez, Wednesday Pugsley, Mama, Uncle Fester. We actually like them. The Pinkett Smiths, not so much. They're just annoyingly annoying. I just want them to shut up. I want her to shut up. And I never want to tell a Black woman to shut up, but this one I do. This one I do. This one I just was like, girl, please stop talking. Y'all are the weirdest people on the planet. Some of the weirdest people. We all watched how you raised your kids, and we defended that foolishness. And then your kids turned out all right. As kids go, they're fine. And they're not in any trouble or any of that kind of stuff. We heard the rumors about, philandering. And then when you came out with that entanglement, you gave a new language to infidelity, entanglement. And then when we found out it was your son's friend, it was just icky all the way around. And we just was like, girl, just okay, all right. We have given you a great deal of grace. A great deal of grace. And you deserve every bit of it. But now go sit down. You know what? You need some time away to just shh. Seriously. Just go shh. Go sit down. Take yourself out of public. I know you're trying to peddle a book now. You want people to buy this book. You want people to buy this memoir. Will already put his book out there, so it's your turn. But I think we need you to just shh. Just go, take some time, go to Africa and wander through Africa for a little while. Go do some healing work. Go build a school somewhere. Just honey, hush. And it's not, I don't dislike them. No, I do dislike them. But I dislike them because they're so annoying. And I never feel like you get a straight answer from them. I think that's what it is. Like you never feel like, I don't think they're liars. I just think they skirt the truth of things. And they just feel very manipulative to me. And they might not be. They might be, if their friends probably think they're like all that in a bag of chips. They just get on my nerves. And every time I see them, I'm like, oh God, but they just go somewhere and sit down. Go garden. Go grow some roses or tomatoes or something. Cultivate that. Yeah. So I don't have anything else to say about the Pinkett Smiths, except I don't care if they've been separated since 2016 and they out here trying to fool us with their arrangement or whatever it is. Because they don't, they made a pact not to get divorced. Listen, plenty of people get divorced for less. So it can be done. It's not a, we got we took sides about the slap. We took sides about the mental breakdown. We took sides. I mean, we've just had enough now. I think maybe people are not tired of them, but I'm tired of them. I was like, stop talking. But that's all right. So the next hour, I've got my sorority sister and great love, Karima Meekins, coming up. Because Amplify, the second annual Amplify the Arts kicks off this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at the Eli Whitney Barn, where Susan Clinard reigns supreme. She's leaving the space, but that's where Susan Clinard's workshop is. And she's packing up. So this will be your last opportunity to, step into that space. I'm so glad that I got to see it when she threw her birthday party over there. It was great because I've never been in the space before. I've never been in Eli Whitney Barn. So it was something. It was really something. And her workspace is just incredible. I don't know where she's gonna go. I hope some magical place comes in her view that she can afford and that makes her happy and inspires her to create more art. because she is truly a talented woman. So that's really nice. So Amplify the Arts 2 days, Eli Whitney Barn. That's going to be good. So Cream is going to come on and talk about it. I want to know why she chose Eli Whitney Barn, because the last Amplify the Art Space thing, I think it was like closer in the summer and outside across a couple of stages. So that was pretty nice. Oh, and at the Keefe Center. So it was at the Keefe Center, it was outside, and it was a nice day. It was a wonderful day. So so this is clearly in the fall, in a barn, and in Hampton. And, it's a rundown of some great artists, her mother, Linda Mickens, Susan Clinton, of course, my other love, Amira Brown, Luciana McClure, Jasmine Nicole, whose work is just absolutely gorgeous, Darnell St. Pfeiffer, and Shonda Holloway, Edward Jefferson, Nathan Lewis. So there's a good group of artists here whose work is going to look wonderful in the space. So I'm looking forward to it. So I think I'm going to make my way to it on Sunday, because tomorrow I'm going to spend my time at the Afro Future Summit at Next Haven, hosted by, curated by, and created by Juanita Sunday and her curatorial team. So that's where I'm at. I want to immerse myself in that particular thing tomorrow, and then and I'm doing a talk with a chef out of the DC Baltimore area, and we are doing a talk about Afrofuturism and food. So I listen, Black to the Future and Eat into the Future Black too. I'm here for it. So I'm excited. So I hope he's cooking. I hope he's cooking. And Juanita told him, well, Babz has an allergy. So, because chefs coming in with all this butter and cream and all this other kind of stuff. And it might be a little challenging for my butt. I won't be able to eat nothing. I mean, I even have to look out for salads, because those damn caramelized pecans in a salad, or nuts, or whatever the hell it was, because you gotta douse them in butter and then throw them in sugar, and that's the culprit. So the good thing is the cocktail that I take, the medical cocktail that I take, is working, because by now I would probably be in the bed, not able to move and sick, and contemplating going to the hospital. That's how serious it gets for me. I always try to wait it out. Because I hate going to the hospital. I don't know anybody who loves going to the hospital, but when I go to the hospital, before they pull up my charts, it takes so long for me to convince them that this is what's happening, and then this is the regimen that you got to do, and then they come back and say, "Oh, this is the regimen we're gonna do." I just look at them. I was like, what you got to do? I need a cocktail of steroids, antihistamines, and some kind of pain relief medicine, and you just mix it all together, put it in an IV, and get me hydrated, get me back hydrated. That's how it works. So and then whatever else you need to give me to shore up my immune system, so my body could calm itself down, right? Because what happens when I get dairy, my whole body starts to fight itself. Like my whole body just gets inflamed, and it's just like, it's war. and then it beats itself up. I'm like, oh my God. So my body thinks it's his own enemy when dairy enters it. So anyway, that's the story of me. That's why I was like, if anybody if I go missing or whatever, or if you find my demise too quickly, just look to see if there's a glass of milk by my bed, or some cheese in the fridge or something, because then that will give you an indication somebody did me in. Oh, today is National No Bra Day. Oh my God. Do you know what that could do for people? Ooh, I love it. But you know what? It's really designed to go get your tatas go get your tatas tested, looked at, mammogrammed, pushed up in the machine. Why? Because this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I got a little pink. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so get those babies seen. Get those babies seen. Get them seen. You know, it's not the only line of defense, but it's the best one we got at the moment. And I need everybody to get all. I need all breast information. It's a National No Bra Day. Get into it. Get into it. So I need y'all to go and get these babies looked at. So thanks, Lo, for bringing that up. That's good news. That's some good news to know. Good news to have. You know, good news to have. So get them done. Get them in. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this whole thing up. When I come back, I will have Karima Mickens on. And we're going to talk about Amplify the Arts in Hampton, the second annual Amplify the Arts. So I'll be back.
This is Harry Drove, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
Shine upon me, live this way.